Alienware.
What's that? No, 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 no. I got the hey, real quick, man. Episode 55, we're back. This Life in Tech. I'm Jason.
Hey, and I'm Dan.
And I'm obviously not where I usually am. In Maryland right now, which is why we didn't have the podcast last week because I got on a plane with a bunch of dirty savages and they all got me sick.
I
But
just figured your green screen sucked.
no, man, you can't kill me. I survived. Now I'm stronger, like Ultron.
That's great. That's great.
Oh
Oh,
man, what to talk? There's so much going on though, man. Like all of a sudden, there's all this fuckery with social media being harvested for political manipulation and propaganda. And I don't know if you ever watched oh man, now I can't think of the TV show, but there was a show fairly recently that Marcia and I watched. I'm trying to think of the title while I'm talking about this. Oh no, no, never mind. I know exactly what it was now. It was the Kevin Spacey shit, House of Cards, where they outlined how they were able to manipulate search results to influence political thought. Hello?
yeah.
It seems like and you switched the background. Nice, man. I got to tell you, I like the other one a little better, man. It's a
Do
little
you? Do you? You like it? Well,
it's a little postmodern. When I saw the thumbnail when we first started the session, I thought it was real. I'm like, where's this guy at?
yeah. So the only thing I got to say is, about that and starting it off. What do you mean just started?
Well, right. Because once you find a broken clock, naturally the rational person is going to wonder, well, how long has it been broken? Before we get going, though, I didn't mean to cut you off. We were talking about my new laptop here. No, man, I just got a Dell Inspiron 15-inch 7000 gaming series. I added some more memory to it, so it's tricked out 32 gig. This thing is a tank. And let me tell you something. It was so easy to access the RAM and the drives. It's one screw on the bottom lid. You know what I mean?
Nice.
I will never buy another Apple. Fuck you, Apple. I'm done. No way.
So
I threw the Ubuntu Linux subsystem on here. Dude, get out of here. Why do I even need anything else?
probably not. I mean, so I've got a Surface Book 2. Probably weighs as much as your Dell, right? And it's a little bit smaller.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty powerful, right? I dig it. When I travel, it's especially for work purposes. And I'm sure someone will. I haven't tried putting Linux or anything like that on there. I might at some point. Um, that the Surface Pro and the Surface Pro 4, for that matter, love it. Surface Book, I will never travel with it because it's heavier than my laptops.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was kind of on my list. And I love my Surface Pro 4, but I have that screwed up screen flicker issue that a lot of people have reported.
Mhm.
I just thought to myself, well, I need a new full size laptop anyway that I can use a lot of my desktop apps on when I'm traveling. Obviously I don't use this thing on the plane, and it's not big. It would fit. It's just not comfortable.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's big.
Yeah, I mean it's a 15-inch. It just because of the size of the seats in the airline, it just isn't. I'm always afraid of somebody like reclining really fast and catching the screen underneath. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man.
So I mean, that's why I dig the Surface Pro. Um, if I ever switch to like a pure Google environment, uh, for personal or whatever, that would probably work out pretty well too. What Microsoft has done that Apple just hasn't yet, from a productivity standpoint, is that synchronization with OneDrive and stuff like that. Google has it with Google Drive. I mean, I'm not looking to go add Dropbox to my Mac. I mean, it just and the I can at least say that the Word version for Google Docs, for the most part, is comparable to Word. But I mean, if I'm writing, I mean, you're using what, Scribe?
For different things, man, I go between Sublime Text 3 writing latex now and Scrivener.
Oh, Scrivener, right? Yeah. So I mean, I've used LaTeX for years, as well. I would just go down that route, and I might. Um, I'm tempted to buy some of the new, Google Chromebooks.
Well, listen, if I were in an enterprise, let's say like in a CTO position, and I was thinking about my next, let's say 12 to 18 month strategy, and I knew I needed like a desktop app replacement refresh, I don't know why you would consider anything for your top two except for the Google environment and the Office 365 environment. They are beautiful, man. Because look, I collaborate I'm trying to collaborate even more so with people, and most people use Office. I mean, that's just the state of the world, right? Um, Man, dude, even the limited license we have at the university, because we don't have all the apps, you know what I mean? Dude, it's so easy.
You probably have an E3 license, probably.
I tried to get into it, man, and whatever. But dude, it's so easy. It's so easy. And it's all the thing I love, you know how I am. It's all web-based. I don't have any clients. I don't have anything installed. I don't need it. And at that point, you're right. We're back to, well, then why don't I just have a Chromebook? It's when I travel, right? Well, this is why I still use my iPad Pro, which I do think works well for most things. The problem is you can't run some of our teaching software off of it very well. But anyway.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about Office 365 with Outlook webmail, I don't get the notifications.
Well, so so here we have a different use pattern, right? I don't care because I only check my email twice a day anyway. Your
right.
requirements are completely different.
Yeah, absolutely correct. And for my most users, they need to get the calendar pop-up notifications, things like that. Oh, I've got a meeting in 20 minutes, right? Because not all of them have this little thing called a phone that gives me my notifications, because the push notification system is much better. Now, I bet if I enrolled some of these systems as an Office 365 managed device, I bet you it changes it.
I bet it does too, man. Because the actual, that's one of the things that over time I noticed with Windows 10 is the notification system, not only in the way that it appears in the dock, but the way that it self-integrates with the environment is way better than Apple's. Apple's drove me crazy because it uses the Growl subsystem. I think it still does. And it pops it up in the top right, yeah? And it's not consistent, like what causes notifications, how those notifications you're able to interact with them.
Right.
Like on iOS, it's pretty consistent. You know what I mean? Whereas on Windows 10, man, it's seamless. Like everything is integrated. It's all right there. I'm like, man, this is beautiful. Why did I like not like this? I don't get it. I'm talking to myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it, because more and more, personally, I wouldn't use Windows outside of gaming, right? I mean, because I still game, but I don't go to the internet. I mean, I'm not surfing the internet. I'm not doing things on my Windows box that I'm doing everywhere else. Mainly because I just don't like to. There's some things I enjoy on it, but it's what am I looking to do? When all the stuff that I do for teaching, I'm on my Linux system. For work, I've gone back and forth. I don't care. The only thing I haven't done yet is Chromebooks, and so I just want to go get a couple. I don't know if they have a touchscreen. I wonder if they have a touchscreen one.
I don't know, but the nice thing is the price of failure is like really low.
My gosh, yeah, a couple $100.
This Dell is pretty trick, man. I mean, it has a mobile 1060 NVIDIA video card in it.
Really?
Yeah, I have 30.
You could play well on that.
Oh yeah, easily, man, easily. Because I tell. And it was under $1,000.
Really?
Yes.
So the Alienware equivalent, just because of all the little tricked out keyboard, is $2.
Yeah. Well, dude, this has an LED keyboard. Now it's only red, but I can turn it off and on if I want to use it at night. You know what I mean? The screen's not as.
Oh no, I got my HyperX.
Yeah, I mean the screen's not as nice. It's good for me. But dude, like because we're doing the machine. Some machine learning is required for some of the brain-machine interface research we're doing at school, and because that's why I'm here, I need a little more computational power than just my iPad Pro could give me, or my Surface even, right? Dude, this thing's great. Are you shitting me? It's awesome for its price, and for everything I need to do, I'm set. And apparently the webcam's not too bad. This is the first time I've used it. It doesn't look too bad. The audio is great.
Well, I mean, the good part is that you couldn't look any worse, regardless of the
Oh,
look.
yeah. Yeah, look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, yeah. You going back? Are you going back to a straight razor?
Oh my God, dude. I'll tell you what my psychological hang up is, and this is our segue into propaganda, maybe, is I made a buddy through the moms group, okay? And this dude has a pretty nice beard. And Lily is obsessed with beards, and she keeps asking me at least once a week, where's my beard and why do I have a little baby beard?
Yeah.
And so, you know, at first it was funny. And then after like a couple months of this, I'm like, it's really starting to erode my manhood. But you know, now I'm caught. This is the typical story, right? Now I'm caught between two women, my daughter and my wife. One likes it like this, and the other one wants something different. So, well, I don't know, man. But yeah, man, I still use the safety razor.
Yeah, I mean, I use a Chevette. I love my Chevette. At some point, I'm just going to go and get a real straight razor for it. As soon as I learn how to properly, sharpen it.
Yeah, that's the key.
Because with the Chevettes, I just keep turning out the blades, but it's still better, night and day better than any Mach 4, Mach 5, all of those other razors. Even if you went with the original safety razor, which still looks like the old school barber, which I got my son. I'm like, learn how to use this, and it'll be it's $10 for an entire year of razor blades. $10. And he's like, he said, well, why don't I get this Mach 5? I'm like, you want to spend $300 a year in razors, or you want to spend $10?
And get it in my experience, given my face and my hair,
yeah,
a massively inferior shave.
Oh yeah, I'm like, he learned how to use, with the beaver hair brush, lather it up, exfoliate there a little bit. Eventually, he'll be back to he'll get a Chevette.
Yeah, man. And I like you. I use oil, and it's just this the whole nice ritual of it, man. It's like presenting yourself to the world, and you're ready with your shoulders back to extract order from the chaos, to quote Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when I go to a different spa, which has got all of the steam rooms and stuff like that, and then I'm able to get out there and I just whip it out, lather up a little bit with the oil, and just come out, and it's smooth.
Jesus Christ. So do you do that with your towel on or off? Because when I would go to the spa and work out, and I went to a CD place, but I picked it because there wasn't a lot of people there. And the people that were there were, I mean, much older, at least twice my age. And they were in their little cliques and stuff. Towel off, man.
Always.
Let's do it.
Always. A towel?
Yeah. No.
The only thing I would wish I would like get like a band to go around, just so I could have the towel to wipe off on my leg as I'm doing the Captain Morgan pose, just to wipe off the blade from the hair so I can get back to clean shave again.
Yeah, in fact, I would use two towels, one to stand on because there's a bunch of dirty savages, and one to on the counter to put my stuff on because there's a bunch of dirty savages. But otherwise, let's go, man.
Yeah.
It's such a strange thing, right? As dudes, you played sports, I played sports. We grew up in like community showers, community bathrooms. It's such a different experience.
See, I'm not standing on a towel because I have my shower shoes.
Right.
Because same thing, I'm not going into the shower because of the dirty savages that are there.
Yeah. See, I just learned to pee on my own feet.
That's not a problem for me. So.
But anyway, talk about propaganda, man. How did we ever get from like even just a safety razor, which is a classic instrument, right? The double-sided, flip it, whatever, right? To Gillette having two blades. And then three, and I mean, dude, do they have something like with 5 or 6 blades in them now?
Yeah, there's like a 5 blade now or something like
There's
that.
massive things that are like $20 a single. You know what I mean? And clearly they sell. I mean, talk about free market too. But it's the propaganda of this will make you This is what a man really wants. No different than we experience as kids with Camel cigarettes and Marlboros.
You know, social engineering, also known as marketing, has been going on since the beginning of time. I have a better hammer. I have a better stone. I have a better tablet. I have a better pick. I've got a better way to write an ink with ink, typewriter, press, magazines, newspapers, live TV, to real-time micro news with Twitter.
Yeah.
All the same thing, right? Just the way in which we access data, the way in which data is presented to us has just gotten faster. The propaganda machine, I don't think has ever changed.
No, because like you said, like marketing, and we can spin that to, I think, its natural complement, which is sales, right? It's just one big social engineering snow job. And I'm not begrudging it. It has its place. But let's call it what it is, right? You're trying to convince somebody to buy something that they don't really need or want. And you're trying to do that for the maximum amount of value that you can extract.
Yeah, I still can't get over this aspect. And it bothers me still today when people go, Russia interfered with our election system. You mean all the sheep that we have that voted, that believed the things that Russia may or may not have done to persuade the public to vote one way or the other? So what you're saying is, as an adult, you allowed someone else to influence your right to vote.
Yeah, right. And to the point where it was 52% of the population. I mean, 52% of the population got brainwashed by Russians, really. Yeah, it's such an oversimplification of what is a really complex situation and I think that is in and of itself how
that's why me and Vader go at it all the time. I'm like, you will not win.
Right. And that's
let's go back and relax.
Yeah, there you go. And I think that's exactly in part what led to Trump being elected is this oversimplification of a complex issue that turns it into micro news. That was well stated. I'd never heard that before, actually. Micro news, whether it's Facebook or Twitter. I mean, have you ever, because especially now being in Maryland, I've been here for a little over a week, and I'll be here for one more week. And it's culturally different than where I live in California. Oh, look at the little guys. It's culturally different. So it's an opportunity for me, not being here normally, to observe what is ostensibly different. And I've noticed that there's distinct, even language patterns that, as far as I can tell, only come from that micro news through primarily Twitter and Facebook. So people clearly are consuming information from those platforms and then just turning around and proffering it as if it were some 1920s style investigative report, which I think was true reporting. It was much more rigorous. It was almost true research in some senses. To now where it's just information.
It was respected.
Yeah, I mean, think about even in our childhoods how important like
Walter Cronkite.
Yeah. Right? Like 2020 and shit like that. That was the bee's knees, so to speak.
Yeah. And when you start getting into this, and I just keep going, these people that say something, this is why micro news is so dangerous. Clickbait. I can't tell you how many people I will see retweet or like a message or something like that. And I'm going, the title, the subject line, the thing, the header coming across, I'm like, this has nothing to do with the message. This was literally to get you to click on it and go, how did this relate?
Yeah.
And then they'll retweet it. Oh, this must be true.
Well, particularly, so take this concept and take the concept of a free market, which we talk about quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
We both believe in it. That makes me wonder, these shitty sites like Gawker and the ilk that give you clickbait. And then on top of that, as if that weren't bad enough, it's like 47 clicks to go through the little scrolling content instead of a vertical scroll of a body, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do those exist? Who the fuck is clicking on all of them?
Evidently, a lot of
Getting
people,
paid
dude.
out, right? Because they're obviously getting paid out per click because those ads rotate every time you click to the next part of the story, right? I mean, I get it. It's a beautiful marketing strategy, but dude, what the fuck? They're so laden down with JavaScript that the goddamn site can't even run.
It's pretty bad. And it's just constant. I mean, I can't even get over the amount of things that just constantly are clicked on. I mean, I'm not even sure how they're being clicked on this much.
Yeah, right? Yeah, because good luck finding the fucking button under all the pop-up ads.
Yeah, I'm like, how did this happen?
Or if you run an ad blocker where everything's disabled and it's not functional anymore, which is my problem. But you know what this is, man. What I've been thinking about, because I was thinking about what we were going to talk about this week, over the last few days, is remember it was Richard Dawkins, the biologist, that coined the term meme, and he coined it in the context of a virus, which viruses tend not to be good things, particularly for us, right, as organisms.
Sure.
And micro news has the news has shrunk to a micro level. I agree, because of the rapidity of which information is distributed now, given our massive interconnectedness, right? But that's also collapsed information down to bite-sized portions, which, you know, look, man, if I really want a cheeseburger, do I want a cheeseburger or do I want a slider? I want a fucking cheeseburger, right? Because I want a cheeseburger, not some watered down, shrunk, miniaturized simulacra of a cheeseburger, because that's what a slider is. And that's what the news has done. The news has collapsed down to these little memes. And memes have turned into something that's funny because of Reddit and 4chan, instead of stepping back and understanding how they're do I want to say propagandic or propagandistic? I don't know what the proper word is because I'm making it up. You get me. Right? They're memes. That's all it is. Oh, man, you're cracking me up, man.
Since we're bringing up Gawker and all of these sites, I'm going to drop a leg on him, brother.
Well, and good for him, and good for him and Peter Thiel.
Yeah, this is the thing. You know, when we talk about all of this, the reason why I brought that up, and I'm glad you brought up, you know, Peter in this case, people who have the money dictate the message.
That's absolutely correct.
For whatever reason, we may or may not like Gawker. They happen to do something that someone with FU money decided he didn't like. And so he ended you. And when we look at any of these things, like, you know, I talk a lot about privacy and the aspects of how you could potentially go dark, which is very difficult, especially today. But JJ Luna said, you've got 4 levels of pursuit, 4 levels of privacy. Level 4 pursuer, someone with unlimited resources, governments, things of that nature. Level 4 privacy is a government agency essentially giving you a whole new identity, which you can't as a private citizen legally do. So with someone with unlimited resources, the best you can do as a private citizen without government help is get to level 3. 4 beats 3.
Yeah.
And it's like this with everything.
Well, you know,
Gawker decided to go up against Peter Thiel, and he blew your world up.
Yeah, which makes me think, I hadn't thought about this before. Where's Larry Flynt? And why isn't he all upset about Trump and his cronies? Because he was pretty upset during the whole Clinton thing.
You know, I don't know.
Because he gets FU money in the literal sense, right?
Oh, yeah, he does. You know, I don't know what he's up to nowadays. I haven't heard anything from him in a very, or even about him in a very long time. Is he even alive?
That's what I was just wondering. I think he still is, man. I mean, he outlasted Hugh Hefner, but he was also younger, I think. But he's also shot crippled, so I don't know, man. But you remember,
Larry Flynt,
right? He was going to basically dox before dox was a word. Everybody that was going after Clinton.
And yeah, let's see.
Times in the past,
he's 75. He's in Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's on board. I don't know, man. I don't know. But you're right.
Maybe he likes President Trump. I don't know.
Well, I
He
mean,
must like him. I mean, the president likes his evidently, models,
well,
whatever
I
you want to
mean,
call it.
we can just
What's her
straight
name? A Playboy model?
we can just straight up call them hookers. Let's call it as it is, man. I'll say it.
I I don't want to necessarily look like I am judging anyone unnecessarily.
Well, yeah, I'm not judging, man, but let's just call it what it is. But anyway, to me, it's almost to the point where because this recent thing with the Facebook data being harvested and whatnot. But wait, every single person that had that data harvested volunteered to provide that data.
This is like conversations that I have with people that potentially go against like Google Home and Echo and stuff like that, and then they go, "Oh my gosh, what about the privacy concerns?" Then don't buy the device.
Yeah, you're right. It's not government mandated houseware.
Yeah, it's like, well, what if someone hacks it? Well, that means they're hacking Google or Amazon. Okay, and then I'm going to believe that Google and Amazon, because I have extended my trust to them, have encrypted the data accordingly to my, we'll say, authentication key for my account. So they're likely normalizing the data for geography and stuff like that, but they're not. I don't believe that Google is directly tying anything back to me. They've provided a unique identifier, so it doesn't say Dan Ford. There's some unique identifier, and yeah, if you get down into the weeds, that aspect of the unique identifier could eventually be related to me. I'm okay with that. I have said I'm okay with it.
Right, because at the same time, if you're worried about the privacy that may be natively impacted by having a home virtual assistant, why aren't you upset about the IRS and the forms you have to fill out for taxes every year? Because there's way more PII on that.
Well, I'm not upset that I have to fill out those forms. I'm upset at the amount of taxes I have to pay.
Well, I might agree, but right, I mean, if you don't like this, why are you okay with that? And if you're decrying this thing over here, why aren't you decrying the entire system?
Because it's just easy.
That's right. Well, because nobody wants to go up against the IRS, and I don't know why people think they're going to go up against Google. Because I'll tell you, if those two went together, I'm betting on Google, not the IRS or Amazon, and that they're going to become like the third or fourth largest bank in the world. Are you shitting me?
So let's be real. If you go up against Google, you're really going up against the National Security Agency. And if you go up against Amazon, you're going up against the CIA. Let's just be clear as to which one you're going up against.
Right, both of which I would bet on against the IRS personally.
Oh, yeah. Because no one likes the IRS. Not even government people like the IRS.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I work for the government. Really? What agency? The IRS.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you don't really
work for HUD. I would rather work for HUD.
Well, because first of all, you don't really work for the government at that point. You're just a dirty bill collector.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why, regardless of your religion, Jesus, like, hey, I had to come to save those that were not healthy, like tax collectors and prostitutes.
Yeah, because you're immediately a depraved sinner.
Yeah.
But I've reached this point now where I think even like going back to this Russian thing, and then I got to close up here. Whether or not the Russians are involved, I don't think is the salient point right now, particularly in the context of social media. The point is that by virtue of social media and its rapid dissemination of information, we're essentially propagandizing ourselves. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, what's a hashtag? It's a condensed news bite that operates like a meme in the sense that it's a mental virus.
Very true. Very, very true. And people don't necessarily care.
Well, we don't
enough to care.
Yeah, we don't care because we don't understand it, and it seems innocuous, like a virus, in the biological sense, until it makes you sick. That's the metaphor. And we certainly don't have an immune system in any way, shape, or form. And the next person that tells me that cybersecurity can operate like an immune system is going to get slapped.
We've had this talk a lot. It's really quite funny because I'm going, cybersecurity could act like an immune system if active defense was permitted everywhere.
Well, oh God, man. Don't get me riled up. I got to go watch a movie.
Because at least active defense was I can go out and try to destroy the stuff attacking me. Cybersecurity is you can't. So it's purely reactive, and it doesn't learn from the things that have already attacked it before.
Thank
like
you.
The immune system would.
And adapt. Thank you. Well, so that's my finishing point is if we want to be resilient to not only the Russians but ourselves, we need to develop a cognitive set of filters so that we're not so subject to these micro news memes. There you go. There's my nutshell closer.
Yeah. I mean, comes down to people that want to be a victim are going to be victimized.
Yes, right. That's absolutely right.
And this happens in society because instead of taking accountability for your actions, it's so much easier to blame another entity. Oh my gosh, I was influenced because Russia paid for ads on Facebook and I believed it. Hey, fact check. If it doesn't seem like it's true, it's probably not.
Well, this is maybe a segue to the next session on this. But how are you so ill-informed and so narrow-minded that is your source, your sole source of information? Whatever, man. We're like in this little tween stage as a species. We got to get out of this. We need steroids.
Well, on my closing, I am just going to say that I am forgetting about everything that's happened in social media, the election, and just say I'm really saddened that we lost a great man this past week in Stephen Hawking.
That's absolutely true. Massive intellectual vacuum.
I reread some of his advice that he gave to his kids, which was 3 things I'm going to paraphrase, essentially. Look to the stars and not to your feet. To me, that basically means stop looking backwards, forget about it, and look forward. Do good work, because that's really what defines us. And that could be in anything. If you're going to do it well. Don't just be a person that is taking orders. Take pride in what you do. And if you are ever bestowed upon the blessing of love, hold on to it.
Amen.
So, I will just, for someone like, for myself, these theoretical physicists and things of that nature, people wonder, what is it going to do for you now? Probably nothing. But all of our inventions that we have today happen from some type of science that was researched 50, 60 years ago, and we're just now seeing the results. It's not about what's happening to now. It's how is this going to potentially affect us in the next generations to come.
That's right.
There's my closing words.
Well said, man. I can't say it better.
Of course not, because I said it. But that's
all right, my friends. That's episode 55.
We are in the bag. Have a great week. We'll see you all next week.
Next week, I'll be back in California, and I probably will have a special guest for me. I think maybe we should think about talking about education.
Don't we always?
Well,
that's why we have this life in tech.
You got it, man. All right, everybody. See you next week.